Hello, this is Dr. Bin Song at Washington College. As explained in the previous units of modern philosophy, underlying the enterprise of modern philosophy termed by Descartes as the tree of philosophy is the root of metaphysics, which addresses the most generic traits of basic substances of the world, namely soul, body, and God. Therefore, to appreciate the title of René Descartes as the father of modern philosophy, we will spend the following 2 weeks to read the entirety of Descartes' meditations on first philosophy, and I hope you can get as much insight as you can from this incredibly rich and quintessentially modern text of philosophy. Being among the enshrined modern philosophical classics, none of a single word in these meditations can be overlooked by contemporary readers. However, these meditations were after all written almost 400 years ago, which would naturally indicate some unfamiliar nature to readers today. One of the difficult reasons to read Descartes' meditation is to grasp how Descartes used old scholastic terms and jargons to express his modern thought. If we gradually peel away these pre-modern layers from the kernel of his thought, we will find the distinctively modern traits of Descartes' thought in the kernel, and thus feel immediately connected to it. In the following, I will provide a brief and preliminary explanation of prominent themes of meditation 1 to 3, and I hope it can facilitate your extra reading of the book. Firstly, the title of the book, Meditation, is fairly interesting. Starting from Aristotle's contemplative life, running through Marcus Aurelius' meditation and Augustine's confession, the philosophical tradition of the West evolved into Descartes' meditations to have indicated a rich meditative lineage, where meditation is understood as a systematic reflection upon philosophical problems, and the reflection is aided by a certain kind of focused mental discipline. This richly meditative tradition of the West tends to be overlooked by contemporary readers, since the current use of the term meditation is easier to be connected to Hindu, Buddhist, or other non-Western practices of meditation. However, if we read the entirety of Descartes' meditations, we can still find some similarity between this meditation of a philosopher with other more religiously oriented ones. To put it briefly, this philosophical meditation also needs a two-way system of descending and ascending, or one of reduction and recovery. In Buddhist Chan meditation, for instance, you need to focus upon your breathing, so as to reduce your consciousness to a peaceful and all-encompassing base, and then employ that purified consciousness to re-contemplate worldly phenomena so as to live a mindful life here and now. Similarly, Descartes uses the method of doubt to challenge the validity of every piece of knowledge he acquired before. Once he got to the bottom of his doubt, he found one piece of knowledge that he cannot doubt, namely the existence of the thinking I. And then he would do further contemplation upon all ideas that exist within this thinking I, so as to check whether any of these ideas can provide certain knowledge of the outside world. I believe every reader, as long as they closely followed each word of Descartes' meditations, would also experience such an intense process of purification and reunification of human mind, which makes Descartes' thought process deeply practical and performative in the regular sense of doing meditation. Secondly, the method of doubt used by Descartes to get to the all-encompassing base consciousness of I think is not a normal one. It is termed as the hyperbolic doubt, which would consider any piece of human knowledge as completely false as long as it indicates a scintilla of uncertainty and dubitability. Using this hyperbolic doubt in Meditation 1, Descartes threw away all pieces of human knowledge, which he acquired through sense, imagination, memory, and even pure intellect, with only the sheer activity of I think remaining as the rock bottom of human consciousness that cannot be thrown away anymore. Here, the radical departure of Descartes' philosophy from the pre-modern Aristotelian one cannot be more visible. As we explained before, Aristotle's natural philosophy is based upon the commonsensical observations of worldly phenomena. However, here, Descartes says that humans' common sense does not make any sense until every piece of it gets radically doubted and thoroughly scrutinized. Since doubting and scrutinizing require the ability of independent and free human thinking more than anything else, we can surely discern a distinctively modern sign of Descartes' philosophy. Just as we once characterized Copernicus' heliocentric astronomy as indicating the same strength of human thinking, and thus as the starting point of modern scientific revolution. Thirdly, since Descartes does not take commonsensical observation as the starting point of the pursuit of human knowledge, the more authentic approach to obtain human knowledge for Descartes is termed as idealism, which is distinguished from another very important later lineage of modern thought, namely empiricism. Descartes' idealism suggests that in order to obtain human knowledge about anything in the world, we cannot start from a naive perception of the world, which takes the existence of things in it as granted, since the very existence of things in the world has been put into radical doubt in Meditation 1. Rather, because the inner world of human subjectivity, which is termed by Descartes as I think or pure thinking, is more certain than anything else, we need to search for ideas that exist in our mind first, and then infer whether these ideas correspond to realities outside the human mind. In other words, we need to examine whether these ideas can inform us of any knowledge about the outside world. Through this idealistic approach of epistemology, Descartes characterizes the origin of human ideas into three groups. Ideas can be innate, invented, or affected from outside. Descartes also scrutinizes these ideas one after another regarding their validity of informing knowledge of objects outside of human mind. In other words, rather than taking realities to be the prior origin of ideas, Descartes pays his primary attention to ideas in human mind, and then asks whether ideas inform humans of realities. Since ideas are more primary than realities, the role of autonomy and human free thinking gets prioritized and glorified during the process, which is surely a reaffirmation of the modernity of Descartes' thought. Finally, another significant aspect of Descartes' meditation is his theology, namely his reflection on the existence of God and the role of the idea of God in regaining the validity of human knowledge that he has radically doubted prior to the conclusion of I think, therefore I am. For Descartes, it is a crucial step for the aforementioned epistemological approach of idealism to know that God is the creator of I. And more importantly, God is so good that he would not make I commit mistakes. even on ideas which I can perceive vividly and clearly, only after making sure the ultimate kindness of God, namely, God is not a deceiver in Descartes' own words. Descartes thinks that we can believe our natural tendency to think of certain ideas in our mind, such as those mathematical ideas and sensory perceptions, as corresponding to realities outside of human mind. Be this as it may, our wondering is that, is God really an absolutely necessary idea to Descartes' system? Or as some scholars intend to argue, is Descartes' meandering thinking on God just a sign of Descartes' political shrewdness, since he did not want his writings and his person to undergo the same destiny of Galileo Galilei and the censorship of the church? I would be very interested in hearing your thought on these questions. In a word, in Meditation 1-3, Descartes finds the undoubtable foundation of human knowledge, quote, I think, therefore I am, quote, via a radical method of hyperbolic doubt. And then, after proving the existence of kind God, he intends to reascend from the all-encompassing base consciousness of I think, and regain human knowledge via the approach of idealism. Please do read the meditations word by word, and my summary here by no means captures the full glory of this quintessentially modern writing at the dawn of modern philosophy.